foot. Little lord of Sirmione, no one turned to salute me here among the impossible palaces and closed-fist faces that stubbed down my pride like a vicious thumb. Husked of all my pretensions, I was rendered a nothing creature, transparent, absorbent, leaky as a good secret. The innocence dripped off my sweat-sponged forehead, and my veins distended in new appetites fed by the stinks and uproar of the streets and the marble eyes of women, haughty as balconies. My new home, rented from Marcus Crassus, turned out to be a fine villa within a shallow sniff of the livid juices of the Tiber. The first thing I did was to dispatch back to our father the Veronese servants who had accompanied me on the journey from Sirmione. They were quite possibly his spies, but worse, they had witnessed my sudden degradation to back-street nobody. Waving them off, I lifted my head and sniffed the tangled, salty air. It was late spring. The cooking fires were burning in rich men's houses, and already I had a stack of invitations to attend to. Our father's friends in town were determined to be generous. Caesar himself bestowed his company and his patronage. His house was among the first I visited. I took care not to be visibly awestruck by its luxuries. He showed me, our pater rather, the honour of stepping forth to greet me, so that all might see how I was esteemed. He held my hand for a moment after he first pressed it, looking into my eyes, until I was forced to look away, blushing. "What are you for?" he asked me. A strange question, I thought. Now I know him better, I realize that it was entirely characteristic. Caesar always seeks the essence, disregarding anything ephemeral, including youth, good looks, or humour. He finds no poetry in the little things, but a great lyrical epic in shaping the future. Look at his ambitions, praetor elect, and his sights set even higher. Compare them to my little poems. Still, he had the grace not to laugh when I told him that I was a poet and would be a great one. Instead, he put his head to one side and considered me for a long time. The glass of those large grey eyes cooled my spirits, but when I was gently dismissed a few seconds later, I put Caesar out of my mind. I went to join the drinkers and the jokers and show them what I was made of, on both counts. I'm never homesick. Well, rarely. I've taken to urban life as naturally as rosemary to pork crackling. Yet I still feel myself an outsider. I know we're all Roman citizens now. No matter that our Verona estate rolls into the horizon, or that there's old money in the family and good blood, I still feel myself irretrievably provincial. I confess I've also made the occasional faux pas, like the sweltering night at Catullus' house when I dropped a lump of ice in my red wine, and 6 of the other dinner guests went home early. Romans! I'm still prickling at the memory. Mind, I myself was so saturated at the time that I needed to be told about it the next day. Then I clapped my hand on my forehead and fretted, for such idiocies breed nicknames that stick forever in Rome. I was tormented by the thought that my only immortality might be as Iceman or Cooler. If anything, I think the incident set me scribbling more earnestly, to make sure that I would be known for something much better, infinitely better. Yes, I still dream of writing a book. Meanwhile, I've made my mark in other ways. Our youthful tomfoolery on the banks of Lake Benarcus has served me well. Only recently arrived in Rome, I became the star of the Aemilian Draughts and Swimming Club, and performed prodigious feats of swinging from beams and swimming the Tiber with a cat aloft in one hand. The beast scratched my wrists raw, and my blood flowed into the river. At last I felt that Rome had taken me in, suckled on me, as it were. So I told everyone who